Hey guys, this is Kendall with 104.3 The Fan, and this is Overtime. I'm here with Zach, Richie, Carni. You guys ready to go? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, baby.
Snowy Friday.
Let's do it.
All right, quarterback conundrum. This week, Vic Fangio said in his presser it was not vitally important for Locke to start this season. So, out of all the things he said, I think that was the craziest one this year so far. If Drew Lock doesn't start a game this season, does he ever start a game for the Denver Broncos?
You know, I think somewhere along the line he will, but for me it's just and I go back to the P word. What's the plan here? If you're saying in a lost season, when your quarterback has been lost for the season as well, that it's not vitally important to play your young quarterback, what is vitally important? And what's scarier for me is that syncing up with that comment is the follow-up was, are you and John Elway on the same page with this? Are you in the front office on the same page? And he said yes. That is equally as scary for me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that he does start one because I think that if it's not vitally important for him to start in their eyes this season, he's not vitally important to them. So I don't think that he is going to be a big part of their plans moving forward if they're not even invested in him this season to see what he has.
Carmelo Anthony, signed by the Trailblazers, picked up, activated immediately. There's always a divide in Denver, and you love talking about it especially. There's always a divide in Denver with Carmelo Anthony's name and what surrounds it. What is your stance on Carmelo and the impact he had on Denver, and what side do you take on that?
Well, I totally get it. Let me just say this. I get both sides. I get the side that says, hey, this is the one of the greatest, if not the greatest era of Nuggets basketball. He was at the forefront. Carmelo Anthony was drafted out of Syracuse, and 200 days later, the Nuggets were in the playoffs with him. Like that's how instantaneous it was, and it happened for about nearly a decade here. So I get the appreciation, but also there's this personal sentiment and the pride in this community that if you want to leave and you are going to force your way out, I get why that a portion of people do not like him. So where I stand on it is I think enough time has passed where you just appreciate what happened. Like, don't cry because it ended. Smile because it happened. And again, I get why people don't like Melo, but at the same time, that was a long time ago now. And appreciate those Nuggets. Unfortunately, they haven't had a parade here, so those are kind of glory days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm kind of in lockstep with you. I think that enough time has passed that you can appreciate what was and still understand that there's a level of pride with the Denver fan base,
sure,
particularly with the Nuggets, especially with the success they've had recently, that you should respect. And, you know, would I ever want Carmelo back on the Nuggets or any kind of thing like that? No, because I think they've built a good young core and they can move forward. But
sure,
that being said, regardless of how you feel about him personally and the way things ended, you should respect and appreciate the level of success that the team had when he was here and how big of a part of it he was.
All right, this was a fun question from the drive last night. So D-Mac brought this question up. Would you rather have had Russell Wilson all this time for the Denver Broncos, right? Would you rather have had him all this time or Peyton Manning for the years he was in Denver? And it comes with if Flacco isn't the guy, do you look for a quick fix, that kind of thing. So would you rather Russell Wilson all this time, drafted right away because he was in the same Brock Osweiler draft class, or Peyton for the years he was here?
Well, I mean, the Broncos won a Super Bowl when Peyton was here, and it was Star Wars for 3 of the 4 years here anyway. And the 1 year it wasn't, the defense was so damn good, they won a Super Bowl. And it's hard to put a Super Bowl trophy back in the toothpaste tube, if you will. So because of the certainty of that, I wouldn't undo what happened. That being said, you look at the carousel of quarterbacks that has happened here, and Russell Wilson would bring not only stability to the position, but Hall of Fame stability, still very much in his prime. If you force me, give me Russell freaking Wilson. I'm sorry.
I thought you were going the other way.
I'm sorry.
ready to be like, I agree.
Give me Russell Wilson. That's 15 years
I
right
get
there.
it. And it's not like Russell Wilson would probably have touched the numbers that Peyton Manning and that offense put up when he was here.
Of course.
But just like you said, when you're talking about a decade plus that you're never going to have to worry about the position, you think about the team that you could build around via the draft and free agency and things like that, when you know you don't have to worry about the most important position. I agree. But just because, and I agree with what you said, you can't put a Super Bowl trophy back in the toothpaste tube. Give me Peyton Manning. They should have. They've had opportunities to fix it and figure it out, and they just screwed up. Didn't have to.
Here's a great question. What would the Broncos' record? They're 3-7 right now. What would their record be with this defense if Russell Wilson was the quarterback this year? Given how many games they lost so close, 17, 16. Like, you can't score more than 16 points.
Yeah.
I think the Broncos right now after 10 games would be at least 6-4.
I was going to say
for
7-3. I was going
For
to say
sure.
7-3.
And I think they would have
A
won another
complete
Super Bowl after
record
2015.
reversal.
I think so too. I mean,
For
you
sure.
would have been able to win a Super Bowl in 2016. That was a 9-17 with Trevor Siemian. If
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, I mean, we could be guys. We could be talking about 3-4 Super Bowls with Russell Wilson
No, I
around here.
know.
I'm just saying.
Especially because you see the offensive line that he's behind. He has to run for his life almost every game, and
Sure.
they've gotten a lot better through the years. But like, you put him in with what you could have drafted, we wouldn't be having the problems.
This is
that
a
we're
damned
having
if you
right
do,
now.
damned if you
I
don't
know.
answer.
Exactly,
So.
because he's Peyton Manning.
Right,
It's
of course,
like,
of course.
I know, the glory days. All right, rapid fire.
Okay.
let's do it.
As of Thursday afternoon, there are NFL tickets for Sunday's game in Washington between the Lions and the Redskins that are selling for $5.
Holy moly.
Would you ever pay under $5 to see a bad football team play? Would you ever go to a bad football team's game for $5?
Yeah, I would. I mean, if there was a spread on it, I'd probably be there. I might wear a cutoff and bring a book,
Hell
but,
yeah.
but I'd be there. If it was a nice day, why not?
Absolutely, I would. Listen, I'm balling on a budget always. If I can see NFL football for $4,
Sure.
that's like no way, no chance. How many friends can I bring for $30?
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
Right.
20. You know, you could bring 20 friends for under $100.
stupid.
That's too bad. What
And
a
it's
shame, because the Redskins were once a proud organization,
Yeah.
and I watched a portion of their game last weekend. There must have been 25,000 people there. I mean, it's embarrassing for
I
an
saw
NFL
pictures
team.
on social, and a guy posted, he was like, I'm at my first game ever, and he's like, well, this sucks because there's no one in the stands. No
No.
one really cares.
It's too bad.
It is kind of sad.
Yeah.
It is sad.
They've
At
won
least,
Super Bowls
you know,
there. I
we
mean, it's
talk
just-
bad about the Broncos, but at least they're not
Oh,
that bad.
Right. They're a 3-7 football team. If they played home this weekend, there'd be 65, 70,000 people there.
Yep. All right, NBC Sports Boston shut down rumors that the Patriots are interested in signing Antonio Brown back. After his new apology, do you believe Brown will ever play in the NFL again?
I do, because I think that his talents, when you have the scale, his talents still, and albeit barely these days, they still outweigh the potential headache that he is when he comes into your locker room. So if I were to put a bet on, I'd say yeah, he plays again.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at Antonio Brown, when he was playing prior to the drama that has unfolded in the last season and a half or so, he was 1A, 1B, 1C, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, as one of the best talents in the entire league. And so absolutely, at some point, because he is that talented and because he still seems to maintain unbelievable physical shape,
Yep.
he'll play again for somebody.
Perfect world, who's making the college football playoffs?
Man, you look at LSU, Clemson, Ohio State. I think Ohio State beats Penn State this weekend. I think those three are locks. You know who I would like to see is Oregon find their way in. They had Auburn beat week 1 of the college football season. They had them beat. Auburn comes back and wins. Oregon since then hasn't lost a football game. So I'd like to see a Pac-12 team get in. Unfortunately, I think it's probably going to end up being Georgia. But here, let me say this over the college football playoff. You know what I want to see more than pretty much anything else? Because I don't think Bama's getting in. A New Year's Bowl game, a New Year's Day bowl game between Oklahoma and Jalen Hurts against
Ooh.
Alabama.
Revenge tour.
I would
Full
love to see that.
circle.
So
I would love to
fun.
see that.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. I think LSU is the team I want to see in the championship game outside of just the 4 because I've just kind of fallen in love with them this season. Clemson, I agree. Ohio State, my Big Ten connections, I want to see them in there too. And do I think it'll be Georgia? Yeah, but I agree. I don't care who that 4th team is. I would like to see a non-SEC team
yeah.
in it. I just want a little parity. I want to
Sure.
shake things up a little bit. And like you said, I think there are some talented teams every year that are just outside that top 4 that don't get a shot. And it's tough because when you weigh in names like Alabama and Georgia, it's tough to say they're not one of the top 4 programs in the country, but we'll have to see how it shakes out.
All right, will you be buying the new Nuggets City Edition jersey? You're a big Nuggets fan.
Well, I'm not a jersey guy,
Okay.
but I'll say this: with the black backdrop,
It
with
looks
those bright colors
so
sprinkled
good.
in there, those things are combustible, like bursting into flames. No jersey, but it may be a hoodie.
All right.
Yeah, no, listen, I thought when they came out with the white ones last season, I thought they looked cool, but I was like, I don't know if I'll buy it.
Yeah.
All that clearly was needed was to just turn the lights out on those things. Black it out. It's so clean. It's so nice. I don't know if I'll buy one, but if I was going to buy a Nuggets jersey this year, that's
do
the
that.
one I would buy.
All right, that was overtime. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Guys, make sure to go to 1043thefan.com to check out all our latest and new content.